Good morning, fellow Ambazonian at home and abroad. This is Capo Daniel, the president of the Ambazonian People's Right Advocative Platform, the commander-in-chief of the Ambazonian Dark Forces. Today, I don't come for Gifuna, the phone interview where I get them, or phone conversation where I get them with Tapang Ivo. Tapang Ivo being one of the Ambazonian leader, the way they be emerge when this struggle will be start, having been appointed as an interim leader of the Consortium by Agbobala. Tapang Ivo and Mark Barata led our struggle and resistance against Cameroon during the social media time and were highly involved in the radicalization of our people and the embracing of our Ambazonian nationalism by the youth of the millennials. The reason why I be do this interview now because a couple of people then forward me a message where Tapang Ivo he talk for Facebook page say this liberation movement it don't fail. Because of that inquiry for ye, I get into this conversation where I don't record them and I want to play them for una make una hear. Time to time I go to jump in and I go to make some commentary for put them into perspective as una understand this job no be journalism. I push na an agenda for Ambazonian interests and the political position where the AP it don't take them. Now the one say Ambazonian need for moderate, for secure our independence through a devolution autonomy arrangement with La République du Cameroon, where go safeguard our sovereignty and our territorial integrity, for prevents a total loss scenario while safeguarding our independence in the future, if not right now. Let's focus and let us over digress to the conversation with Comrade Tapang Ivo. Ntanku. Hello, bro.
You didn't enough for prison. Maui be spend your whole time in the court you didn't have for prison. It didn't for the United States. Ma call back 1 second. Ma
Okay.
call ma.
Okay, I do wait the call.
Hey man, what's up? This way be spend your time in the court you. Oh, Capo Daniel, Gong Daniel, this one. I didn't enough for prison in America. See the country.
I tell you, call me
Capo.
kind name, call me some childish name Pamela Capo.
Yes. Capo, I never know whether I own children they were ground zero to communicate with. I don't know me. I've never, my own end for Facebook is Tapang propaganda, full stop. My money clean. I dey work my clean money for the country. Clean, jobs verified. So idiot, we come for this country. You know if I know he left and right. If they profit for back the Ambazonian revolution for cause people insult your way to independence. Prop up criminals, there's Sako. Insult literally everybody from Ayaba to Capo to Ashu Lucas. Who? Name me one person with that question. One.
I tell
The
you.
brag how he be the latest millionaire and the only millionaire. The pay newspaper for Cameroon may they carry singing praises.
I tell you.
And the food that they did for prison today. Look here, let me tell you. You don't celebrate people's downfall, but I celebrate this one because of the destruction where this man caused of inside revolution. Capo, under Mark and Tapang, we never knew any insults. We never until that to come inside the frame for cost that.
I tell you.
We never ever they cost each other. Even the Consortium, Capo, tell me, I never cost you.
For whose side? At least we were debating. Even when you guys
debating,
have differences
I tell
in
you,
opinion
sir,
or
we
in
were,
approach,
yes,
somebody will say that Tapang is more radical, Mark Barata is more diplomatic, but it has never been an issue of
it has never been an insult.
Even me and you.
Correct.
Even me and you, we debate in the public, in the back, we talk about even our families, we talk
That is
about
why I never had a problem with you. I've never had a problem with you. I've never. I don't know about Coach Capo. Oh, Capo, how this one?
Even when you even if you coach me, I will not say come from a good place. I will call you back for back. I say,
Yes.
Mama, the way you blast
Come
me
on,
today,
man.
I don't
Come
know
on.
witty. This
Let
guy
me
just
destroy
come.
this revolution. I want to say, Capo,
They
you know,
call hand for people them for inside Tigo for me.
it's a Amber.
Then call I call Eric Tato. I tell Eric Tato, say, do you know what is going on in Miselili? They don't call 28 people their hand. Mufu mani pikin so kwati hand will collapse. I send that picture. The item say Capo Njanja moto na mi aran talk. Janja moto na mi aran talk. You feel say that picking them, but that mommy,
Wow.
all those people, the way they cut their hand, over, I think, 148, according to Catholic, the hospital, they treat that woman them. 100 and something people, then chop their hand.
Where?
You know, pass the one which Chastelo do one for inside Syria on a Liberia on a Syria alone. Wait there for prison today.
Capo, I feel bet to say, for instance, my life, I have never, ever, even for ATF, don't say, hey, go do this thing. So maybe point A, go do and so come back and give me feedback and money. This, I've never done it. I feel better to say, Tato as a CC phone. They get evidence to connect, so can't connect from ground zero. Say, hey, go do this. Call in my hand, come back, so can't do so. I think that's to Tato is in trouble.
Talk as Sepsen, you know, be say with the higher and I want to be say,
I said,
begin talk say no. And today with CC people that they fall for the same problem. The Ugo's boy was strong. I mean, a good thing.
Exactly.
Case
horrible.
You go knock your head to take advise soldier them. Thank you. When they look and so they go,
Capo,
go cool.
Capo, all these things all these things for last fight. I don't talk say. The more we waste our energy, talk online, we give the praises to politicians and fake people them. And that's Eric, they made them become more prominent and using the revolution for their personal businesses and politics. Tell me the last time Sako Ikomeka addressed the population. And guess what, man? Tell you. If today, by God's grace, all we activists come online, start populate the revolution, you go see the next day Sako Ikomeka say, as the president of Ambazonia, Sako Ikome, I am saying that you know such a talk. Those guys profit from you talking and wasting your energy online to make themselves relevant. For that reason, I am out of this revolution. Let me say out. I stand up a corner. I watch when I play on a game. But guess what? I am regretting why we even go towards independence. We won't even take federalism.
Now the problem that way, my brother, we don't even have space to debate. You don't have space to assess things.
We don't have space.
When you want to come and shout,
any man will get sense. Any man will get cannot say last. Make us stand depend on boy. And it my opinions are public, and I don't owe anybody any remorse.
Say all man no man. All man they talk for make money. All man they talk for please own people them.
You and me, Capo, try to tell you the truth. That was not for the revolution. That come from private business. Find over chop money.
It is
and
obvious.
then PPP loan come.
It is
obvious. PPP loan come. The man just take advantage of PPP loan, start chop the money fine. He say, wow, government give PPP loan. So if you know saying under the revolution we go chop money, then when the money they come for inside revolution, PPP loan come, the man just switch to PPP loan.
No, it doesn't show like character because
make the interview. I
like the way Cameroon the useless people them. They're forcing me saying as the CDC.
I go talk.
That means they're forcing me saying as CDC. Put the CDC for not ashamed that you where you cut people the hand for CDC. Now which kind of small money they can give you talk to me. Put the CDC for market their product for market. Registered importer for CDC product. How did you get that contract?
Make that interview. I go be at the first one here online.
I talk for you in an interview, in a recorded conversation.
Correct. Maybe so. Maybe so.
No, because so no for free win, but because
we have lost it. We have lost it because of our corruption, nepotism, favoritism,
worse than La Republic.
Putting our private interests above our national Ambazonian interests. Guess what? This revolution needs a reset button. And for press that reset button now, all man, we don't declare yourself president, governments. I am the government of Ambazonia. I am the president of Ambazonia. All want to back down. We want to reset to the era of Mag Barata and Tapang Ivo, when only activists that rule the revolution. But guess what? It will never even happen because when you don't put your interest so much into something where you benefit from wrongfully, it'll be hard for back down. Let me tell you, Capo, I regret, and I'll tell you, I still regret why we transition into Ambazonia without ripening ourselves, preparing ourselves through a two-state federal system of government where we forfeit benefit by being in charge of the government. That means a president from Anglophone or Ambazonia and be in charge of the defense and diplomatic affairs. If you hold the government under a two-state federal system, you hold the presidency under a two-state federal system, you hold the military under the two-state federal system, and you hold the diplomatic affairs under the two-state federal system, trust me, it is easy to declare that I hereby declare that the Anglophone regions of Cameroon that has never signed any marital status with the Francophone zones has now become independent under my watch as the president of Cameroon. If you do them, it's broken up. And guess what? We get President El Buhari, when they come into Nigeria, they transition their military headquarters to their village, for instance, northern Nigeria. We get presidents them, even like Paul Biya, where transition your military headquarters to Yaoundé and to your village. Why will I, as a president of Cameroon, not be able or be handicapped not to transition my own defense ministry and headquarters to Bamenda? Why? You have the powers as the president to call the shots. What is lacking in Ambazonia are the weapons for us to defend ourselves. What is lacking are the strategies for us to defend ourselves. Guess what, Capo? If we follow Tato Eric blindly, as we don't always castigate, say this criminal. If we follow Tato Eric blindly, as if they lead me towards Sako, oh, now follow Sako, Ayabachona, Oidina, Ayabachona this. Where will we bury our head right now, after hearing, after knowing, after it has come to fruition that it was all about a scam? Where should we have buried our heads today? Tell me the truth. You see how
people don't even know. The thing is that our population, do you even think our population even know the shame?
Like Tato Eric, who has misled millions to be believing in a fake government, like Tato Eric, who has misled millions to be believing that righteous people, there are other people in the revolution, like the Sakos, who are misleading millions. There are also other people in the revolution who are misleading Ambazonians to believing that independence can come through government. If independence can come through government, I bet you I'm out of this revolution. I better join La République du Cameroon. There is no independence through government in any revolution. You have to fight for it. You have to recognize that we are all freedom fighters, and we must put our national interest above private interest.
That is the thing that we have a hard time to do, because you have some radical elements.
Illiteracy and pure nonsense for people to consume. Whereas the righteous people who took this revolution from scratch to end were dismissed in the course of the revolution. Look at Capo Daniel. The biggest mistake whatever happened with the revolution, I say, we came close, very close, an inch. In fact, we're already inside to getting federalism, two states, under Bala, Tato, Tapang, Mark, Tontemneba, and all we activists at that time. Trust me, we already got it. Then, La République du Cameroon, with its divide and rule tactics, rolled out politics into it, co-opted people like Atamilan and a couple of those to buy into politics, government in a revolution, and unfortunately we bought into it. All of these Ambazonians, neo-con Ambazonians, they bought into it. And where are we today? Failure. It's a failure. It's a failure. I have written it publicly. It's a failure. If it looks like a failure, it sounds like a failure, it acts like a failure, it quacks like a failure, it is a failure.
Yeah, the thing is that the man on the street wants to just believe that we are going to have independence. So let's do whatever we want as long as it takes.
Exactly.
We are going to have independence no matter how many lives we waste. And there are people who are going to be beating the drum. People who are supposed to educate the population. This is how you have to. You cannot have independence by becoming
Capo Daniel,
an extremist.
We started this thing with education. There are only two ways towards advocacy for change: speaking out and taking action. We started by education, speaking out. We started by talking out. We started by educating the masses, telling them the history, the benefits, how they can be inclusive in the political participatory approach towards self-governance, self-rule. That is how we started it. Tell me one education worker to ever educate anybody inside the revolution. Apart from going and chopping hands, apart from going and insulting your way to independence. Capo, name me one person that has never insulted. One. I will give you a medal. One. One person. From me, Tapang Ivo, a pizza boy. God has extremely blessed me to have my work permit in this country, and I'm making my good money. Clean.
The only person he has not insulted is Pobiana.
The only person he has not insulted is Pobiana. Name me one, Capo. No, let's be honest. I don't care who is listening. Name me one person that has not insulted. One, including women. Momsi V has insulted. Abu Free has insulted. Mom Najela, he has insulted. Erika Zara, he has insulted. Name me one person, one. He's the founder of insult in the revolution. He made people to think that you can insult your way to independence. You cannot do it. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't.
Knows, and that is the dream of Cameroon, for us to be so radical that nobody can listen to us. To be so radical and so butchery to our own people that we are still like barbarians.
I deny to join that train of radicalism. So I stand not on the side of Cameroon, but I stand on the side of the road and watch you guys make your charade, not parade. Charade.
How can we do, my brother? The thing is that people like me, we don't have devaluation so that we can be able to attract the international communities, give them something that they can press the hard lines in La Republique. Because right now, Pobia is comfortable, you know. Look at what happened to the
Yes, some idiot can just say, Tapang Ivo, Tapang Ivo talk now so because I don't go join La Republique.
I say they for them, not foolishness.
So today, I say today, all this, you are I show you road. I don't advise you to listen. I don't advise you to say that on a scammer. That on a scammer from day one when they listen. Now 3 years later, when as I always talk, when Tapang I will talk it when I listen, when I see result after 3 years, I talk about Mark Barretta when I see him today. I talk about Tato when I see him. Everything I've said in this revolution has come to pass. I've always been vindicated. Always. Always.
There is no space to reason, because if somebody don't feel comfortable what you are saying, instead to
guess what? People even feel ashamed. People even feel ashamed to talk about Tato today, because guess what? They buried their hopes in Tato. People feel ashamed to talk about his arrest today because they buried their homes in Tato.
It's a sad thing. Let me tell you what happened in Bamenda, Tapang.
One thing.
Insult them for back now, not be the same people, then they go insult them.
No, I've never seen him publicly insult anybody. I will not say anything.
I'll give you one example. I will not say anything on the record. Let me tell you one thing on the record. When you went out to make certain statement that was against what the AIG of C were doing within the community, you know what Ayabacho told me? Ayabacho told me that Tapang Ivo recorded a phone call with a minister in La Republique du Cameroon who was proposing to bribe him and send it to me. I told Tapang Ivo...
And guess what?
Listen,
it was Marafa Hamidou Yaya. Let me tell you.
No, listen, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened.
Marafa Hamidou Yaya and this other guy will come up Bangwa. How they call this guy? This guy, Tassong, Paul Tassong. A record I sent up by Ayabacho. Yes.
Okay, hear what Ayabacho told me. Ayabacho said that you sent that audio to him to test his flexibility about the subject of receiving bribe. Probably you wanted to let him to see his reaction and know whether he will validate that type of a thing or not.
And
I have to go out there and I have to call you out there and blast you in my own way. But the information you gave to him was in confidence. You gave it to him like a brother and somebody, like a leader that you were aligning with him. So Ayabacho does not come out to insult people, but he engineered people to do that. Lucas, who came out and said that I have gone to eat money in La Republique, when I had disagreement with them in Canada, a disagreement that Lucas was standing on my side. Half of the cabinet was standing on my side. We have opportunity to address the root cause. You are rejecting it. for no valid reason. They send him to come and say that they should attack my family. Capo Daniel is La Republica have eaten money. So Ayabacho may not insult people, but you have to recognize that there is a level of radicalization that he also has. That if he does not dominate the scene, he is also going to cross that line.
Tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands and millions, you realize they want to form a group who want to revolutionize the revolution. And that is what is happening right now.
So, my fellow country people, that was a conversation with Tapang Ivo. Tanku. The takeaway is that Ambazonian liberation by war, which we have come to adopt after the kidnapping of Seseko Ayok Tabi, this trend that have dominated our struggle, that was led by Abacho, La Republique, get out of our territory. Now we are going to liberate with war. That strategy have failed. It has failed basically because of our own internal dynamic. We can no longer defeat La Republique du Cameroon militarily. Our whole hope was lying on the fact that the international community sympathizes with us. They were calling out Cameroon for war crimes. They were calling out La Republique as a belligerent factions that must come to the table and negotiate with people who were reasonable. Our actions were being seen as an act of self-defense. Initially, that is how we started. It was seen as a people fighting for self-defense, protecting themselves while attacking the enemy and claiming their right of self-determination. That particular strategy can no longer work because the basis that sustained that foundation is no longer there. The international community, whether you blame La Republique, intelligence, and their own Atanganji boys or whatever, the international communities now have a 360 turnaround. They no longer support us. They are now putting pressure on us. They now see us differently. Our acts of self-defense are not being seen as self-defense anymore because of the radicalization and the bad construct of our strategy. We are on a losing trajectory right now as I speak to you. The only way we can win is to turn the narrative. We can no longer fight as fighting to liberate militarily. Those who were expecting us to win militarily have no plan that is sustainable because the international sympathy we have has gone. We cannot have our independence now, but we can preserve it by having a concession of autonomy in a devolution situation like that of Northern Ireland and Scotland. This autonomy will safeguard that in the future through democratic means we can have our independence. We have missed opportunities and we never miss opportunities to miss opportunities, as I always say. The first one was with Gorgie Dinka, who successfully had a court judgment and renamed our territory Ambazonia. Instead of the elites to come around him, they all, with their internal dynamic, hatred, jealousy, blackmail, push him along the side and continue their way. You have the all-Anglophone movement that came up. You had the peak with John Frundi. John Frundi could have get into the elections for parliamentary elections and secure people who can fight and defend his political agenda. He failed to do that. And as a result, he was weakened to fight for his power as a president that was elected. The SCNC came up. The SCNC abandoned the argument of Gorgie Dinka, abandoned the SDF, and stood their firm ground. When the time to radicalize came, when the SCLC, led by Dr. Ebenezer Akwanga, the Youth Week, came up to use the arms that they were proposing to use, they tried to kill it. They even labeled it a terrorist group, including Gorgie Dinka, labeled the Sokadef as a terrorist group, which was the first defense forces we have. We have come now with a consortium. We have negotiated. We have failed because La Republique sees this our vulnerability of fighting each other. It is very obvious for anybody who is not within us. We are at this verge now, my people. You have heard Tapang Ivo, you have heard Mark Barata, and you have listened to me very carefully. Ambazonian struggle, as you see in Ground Zero, this lockdown have nailed the coffin. This lockdown have nailed the coffin. To somebody who is a layman, you may not see it. But we can still save this liberation movement by securing an autonomy, by making sure that reasoning dominates, by making sure that moderation dominates, by silencing the bullies in the struggle. If we allow people to continue the hate speech, bullying, lying, blackmailing to dominate our struggle, then we will have ourselves to be blamed. By the time you open your eyes, those who could speak for you, those who could moderate, will have no space. And our struggle will be an extremist struggle that will be labeled as such and will be dealt with as a criminal activity and criminal cartel that is being hunted around the world and around the globe. It will not be the first, it will not be the last. God does not owe us anything. Just like the Hebrew people who had a promise from God to go to the promised land, it was up to them how they arrived there. For God, their plan was 40 days. But that plan could change. Ambazonians have a golden opportunity. It is up to us and our ability to see the light and follow the light. Choose very wisely. God bless you all. Have a very good sky wherever you are.